Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing. Welcome to Water Media Wednesday, episode 7. Today I'm creating in my 6x6 watercolor disc-bound journal. I'm going to be using my Cara-Renee water-soluble wax pastels. And I didn't end up using that stencil, but this is the journal that we're working in. Again, it's a 6x6 journal that I made with the 365 planner. If you want to see how to make one of those, I do have a video on my channel. And these are some of the papers that I'll be using. I'll be cutting out a couple of those butterflies. And then these papers were something I bought on an Etsy shop. They're a digital item. And I had all three of them out because I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use. And so there is my 6x6 paper. And then I discovered that I had just white on white and that wasn't working. So I got my gray mat out. And then I went ahead and decided to go with this one print here with the pink flower in the upper left-hand corner. And I'm kind of cutting around the shapes a little bit, just wanting to capture just the far left side of that image. And you'll see me here in a moment cut it down even more than this. Because I am working only in a 6x6 on a 6x6 page. So it was far too big. So, but I don't cut the flower up. I just cut it out and then I ended up using it in the upper left-hand corner above this piece, as you'll see here in a moment. I'm applying all of my papers with my Liquitex matte medium. And then I also pulled a selection of old music pages and book pages from my stash just to kind of complement the page and fill in those white spaces. And then again, I will be using my Cara-Renee water-soluble wax pastels. I did a video a few days ago on the swatching of that, and that really proved useful because it made me want to get them out and use them actually in a journal. So that's what I did today, and they were amazing to work with. I just absolutely love them. Definitely will be doing more projects with them. They're very vibrant. They're very water soluble in that they move very easily. So here's a close-up of that background. And then I'm going to be using my Deco Art crackle paint because I want it to do two things. I want it to push the background back a little bit, but I also want to create some texture. And the cracks that it created were just fantastic. I was much more patient than I have been on other projects, and I did actually let it dry naturally, and I got a lot of cracks. And I am putting it over some of that image because the image is really not the star of the show. It's more the print, the flower that is in the upper left-hand corner, and then just what you can see through the texture. And then here I got my swatch. This is my the 8x10 watercolor disc-bound journal that I made, that I swatched my Cara-Renee crayons in. And so I needed to use this. I needed to reference it so I could pick the colors that would go best with the background that I've already created. And so I picked russet, vermilion, olive, and then I do bring some yellow in a little bit later, as well as black and white for some splatters. And there was just a flash of that crackle is just wonderful. And once again, using my penny black script stamp. This is a French script stamp, and I'm just stamping that around the background. It's one of my favorite techniques, is to put that that script over the texture. I think it's just really adds a nice element to the page. And then this is the olive. This is the color I'll be starting with first. And I'm just coloring just like I would color in a color book. And I'm just kind of randomly putting it around the page. Didn't really think too much about what I was doing. I just really wanted to have that color be, I wanted it to work with what was already a part of the background in terms of the greenery and then the orangish red in that flower, as you'll see here in a moment. And so I'm just using a paintbrush. This is not a super soft paintbrush, but it's not really, really hard either. So it's kind of in between. And I'll be sure to link that, the brush that I used in my blog post with all the other supplies I used. Keeping in mind here, when you work, especially with water media products, you do have to dry between every layer. It's even more important because otherwise you're going to get mud. So I dried after I applied that green, and then here I'm coming in with the vermilion, which is that reddish orange. And then I'm going ahead and activating that with a little bit of water and that same brush. And then I do also come in with the yellow here in a moment. And I have that white space in the middle that I didn't really care for. So I did come back in with some olive here and fill that space in a little bit more. And in the close-up pictures, you'll be able to see how that crayon just catches in that crackle texture. And it was just absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't even believe how beautiful it was. Again, I've never used these in this way, so it was really quite awesome. And here I'm looking for my yellow, and it turned out it was to my right on my table. So that was not a magic trick. That was just me finding it where it really was. And so here I'm just applying. I wanted a little bit more of a bright color in there, and the yellow was just perfect for that purpose. So I am going ahead and applying yellow here and there as well, and then activating that with the water. Not too much water. I'm not really wiping my brush off, so it's probably of medium wetness. And then again, drying in between those layers. I wanted to bring in some more yellow here. Really, really loved this. I love this product. I can't even believe I've had them in my stash and I haven't used them. There is a downfall to having a lot of supplies because you can kind of lose track of what you have, and that's really a shame. But there's the close-up. I just love the colors. They're so vibrant. And there'll be another close-up here in a little bit where you'll be able to see how that color went into the texture, excuse me. And then that's me just coming in with the russet. That's a brownish color. It's a brownish red, I'd say, kind of like a burnt sienna color. And then again, drying it always in between. And then I'm going to get out my black and my white crayon here, and I'm going to I scribbled it out on my mat, and I'm going to add some water to that, and then I'm going to splatter it first with black, and then again drying in between, and then I'll splatter it with white. I really, really liked the effect of this, especially on this background. It would just really gave it another little bit of punch that I think it needed. It's really vibrant, though. In person, the page is gorgeous. It's always sad because the camera doesn't seem to pick it up quite as nice as it is in person, but it is really beautiful. And it's just super easy to splatter. Just add a little bit of water to whatever the medium is, whether that's acrylic or watercolor or whatever. And you can splatter pretty easily. And then this is one of the butterflies I picked from that page that I showed you at the beginning. That is from an Etsy shop that I just purchased. It was a digital download. And I just basically on the Etsy store, I just Googled digital butterfly ephemera, and this is what came up, and I love it. I know it blends into the background quite a bit, but I like that look. I don't know if it's really that great or not, but I like it. And if this is my art that I'm creating. And so, and that is the important part of art, is you create what makes you happy. And it doesn't have to be the way anybody else would do it. It's the way that you want to do it. It's what makes you feel good. So, and then I did cut out a second butterfly and adhered that to the top of the page. And then I'm drying again, because I am going to come in with my charcoal pencil as well as my, see, there's the close-up. Oh, gorgeous. My General's charcoal pencil. And then around the edges of the page, I will be using my Soho black pastel, soft pastel. I made quite a mess on my table with it. I think there's got to be a better way to do it. I think I might be rubbing it too hard or something, because it just really was, I had so much black pastel on my desk when I was done. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Water Media Wednesday, and that you'll come back and check out the next one next Wednesday, as well as check out the ones that I've already done. They've been quite fun. And if you haven't already liked and subscribed to my channel, I'd sure love it if you did. It helps me to be able to be more visible on YouTube, and I love sharing my art, so I would just love it if you would join me here. So I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.